Today, we return to the controversial world of Creations, Skyrim's new paid mod system, with the intent of these videos being to give you guys a look at some of these new items, to see if there's something you'd be interested in, and to hear my thoughts on them. This time, we're dungeon diving into Trainwiz's legendary dungeons Dwarven Delves, available for PC and Xbox. Priced at 400 creation credits, this is approximately $4 US, which breaks down to $2 per dungeon. Trainwiz has been a notable mod author for years, having created a variety of mods from Morrowind to Skyrim and to Fallout 4, and was one of the several creators who took part in the Creation Club program, having made several pieces of content for it, including the Forgotten Seasons Dungeon Pack. Legendary Dungeons Dwarven Delves seeks to remake and reimagine two of the DLC dungeons featured in the Elder Scrolls Online, Stone Garden and Frostvault. Each of these dungeons also feature a secret second dungeon within, along with named weapons and armor to find along your adventure. As always, the video will be marked with appropriate chapters, so you can check out either Dungeons gameplay or skip right to my review at the end, where I also go over some alternative free mods if you're looking for something similar. Stone Garden can be found hidden within Pine Moon Cave, and Frostvault can be found just within Uttering Hills. For this video, we'll be starting with Stone Garden. Yeah, I hear you. One wolf. Little overkill. Slightly overkill, but hey. Okay, yeah, and you can very easily find the entrance to Stone Garden as soon as you enter that first kind of main cavern in Pine Moon Cave. I am using SMIM, which is why we have that little animation of the lift moving, and because there's this kind of dirt layer, this dirt mesh on top of the lift, that didn't move because obviously SMIM can't account for if a static mesh is placed on top of the lift. We have a chest over here. Probably not going to be anything of note, but you know, always good to check. Yeah, just random loot as per usual. I'll take Peerless Sneaking, why not? And then that'll likely be our quick exit point. We finish the dungeon, we come back out through there, and then boom, right back up the lift. Descend into the depths to uncover why Stone Garden is being attacked by machines.
You can't hide from me.
Oh, well, those are the machines. Incensed spheres. I see a body. Oh, they're like weirdly
Cleared out, I guess.
ghostly, yeah. Oh, and then, yeah, and then
What was that?
effect kind of wears off the second you kill them. Interesting. Yeah, there's someone up there. I want to check this body. Ghost Bottle Disciple. Robes are charging. Okay. Fairly standard stuff.
Must be my imagination.
Yeah, and you can see that the vents are being used to pump out this incense that's being used on the machines. If you are wondering what some of the armors and weapons I'm using are, these are from Anniversary Edition. I am playing on an Anniversary install. So using Chrysamere, using the Indril armor from Ghost of the Tribunal, and several other items from those various packs, because frankly, I really love a lot of those weapons, a lot of those armors, a lot of the stuff that they brought back from the previous Elder Scrolls games. Because the thing I'm curious about is that Dwarven automatons attacking wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. They always attack. It would more so be a matter of why are they glowing? Like, who are the Ghost Bottle Disciples? What is the cause of that? Uh-oh. Oh. Yeah, it would seem that whatever you used on them did not save you. Whatever this incense is, it certainly didn't save you from them at all. Yeah, he killed all of you, didn't he? He didn't even break a sweat. Okay, we have these kind of dwarven... I'm gonna say they're intended to be sarcophagi. Hello there. See, I gave you some time. I gave you a moment. And still, you were no match whatsoever. Let me check you for notes. Nah. Honestly, it might not be as mundane as just having to check everyone for notes. It
Is
might
someone
not
there?
be... Oh.
Over here!
I could see there being a journal or something, but right now... Like, I'll still check everyone for notes, but I don't know if we're gonna see any that way. Oh! Is this already... This is already the way out. This looped back a lot faster than I would have expected. But I saw other ways to go. Yeah, there's a door there. We got a little alchemy corner here. Yeah, obviously this isn't the unseen, as we haven't actually learned about what's going on yet. Door requires a key. One of them might have it. But there's also a couple other ways to go, so I could see the key being down one of those hallways instead. Or, knowing my luck, it's going to be on the guy that fell all the way down there. Not that it would take too long to come back here, but I'm going to leave him be. What are the odds that he's going to be the one person I can't search right now who does have the key? Oh, I just broke his back. I mean, I killed him, but I also, you know, snapped his spine in half just for good measure. Because why not? Because I'm kind of a monster at times. Oh, here we go. I will say, and it's something that just happens in vanilla Skyrim anyway, but the enemy AI, they're not very attentive. Like, they're not necessarily quick to attack. They're not very worried about me just wandering around and killing all of them. Okay, so we have the refinement wing. And do we have something else over here? Okay, locked door, not a new zone though, so let's open this first. Oh? Hello, ghosts? Okay, I didn't think they were gonna talk, but, you know, I wanted to kind of see if they might. You look so peaceful. You're dead, but you look very peaceful. Alright, we did find a journal. Saturation is irrelevant once the initial catalyst has gone through. The amount of necromantic energies it supplies is incredible. Even a fine mist is enough to call even the faintest of souls back to this plane. Lord Alar says we can do better, though. I believe him. Okay. So they were specifically trying to bring back the Dwarven Phantoms, and clearly, that did not go in their favor. Clearly, they didn't want to be summoned back to this plane of existence. Ooh. Mad Alchemist shoes, that's new. Crafted potions are 15% better, regenerate stamina 15% faster. That's a good double enchantment to have. That's a good mix. Also, very fitting for, you know, something called Mad Alchemist's shoes. In that case, let's head on to the refinement wing. Centurion Dynamo Core. Oh, hey there. I got a little scared by the amount of shaking. And it was kind of cool to have that shaking followed by him just breaking the door down, or rather, you know, in his case, opening the door, but that was cool. That was a cool little tense moment, if nothing else. Oh, ooh. More specters. I'm sorry that you were called back to this plane just to be a creepy ghost. I can't search his remains. Never mind. So we have a research wing, but let me see what else is around here first. Because I just got to the refinement wing. I feel like there's probably a little bit more for me to do here before I move on. We might be going for a little bit of a swim. Uh-oh. Oop. There you are. He doesn't even have a weapon. Oh, he's just punching me. Sorry. It's not my fault. I didn't bring you back to this cursed plane. For all we know, you, Dwemer, you were having a vacation and you just got called back here. Oh. What a terrible end to a, what is it? Thousands of year-long vacation? I wouldn't want to come back here either. I have a feeling we're going to need to go in the water. I'm just seeing what else there is first. Also leads to the research wing, so we have 2 ways to get in. So we have a passageway right above us. Is this also going to lead to the research wing? Laboratory, okay. But here is our path up. Also, I did go ahead and bump up my difficulty just because I am killing things very quickly. It might not take effect until the next cell we go through, just because that sometimes happens in Skyrim. I've seen people say that it takes effect immediately, that you need to go into the next cell, the next zone, so you know what? I don't know anymore. Either way, wanted to raise the difficulty because I'm definitely cutting through things a little faster than I had intended. I don't need everything to be, you know, a 2-hit kill. It looks like there's another couple ways to go. Nope, that looks like it might be blocked off, so this will be the way for me. This might just be another loot room then. Uh-oh. Sorry, is this your loot room? Very, very rude of me. I apologize. Here we go, Mad Alchemist Bracers, so there might even be a full set in here. Okay, so, same enchantment. We're gonna need that Dwarven Dust. We're absolutely gonna need that. That is gonna be important for something, just you watch. So it's very possible that I'm finding some of these things slightly out of order then. Because we have the Dwarven Bone Dust, but we don't know what we need it for yet. But that's also why I'm very happy to be thorough and find these things now. That way I don't need to backtrack later on, potentially. Oh. Defeat Alar Ghost Bottle. Are you Alar? Listen, I'm still a little turned around in here. I'm still figuring out where I am. Oh, you're not Alar. I'm sorry. Well, I gotta kill you anyway. But here's the thing. We already know that there's secret mini-dungeons in each of the dungeons. And I don't believe I've found that yet. Oh, here we go. Mad Alchemist Vest? Yes. Yes. And that is gonna be... Yep, same enchantment. This is why I'm trying to be thorough. That way I can find, you know, new sets like that. Ooh. Oh, the incense created a bit of a barrier here. So that might be the way that I need to go then. Something's wrong. The mists of resurrection are bringing forth spirits indeed. But while I see outlines of the ghosts, they're not what I was expecting. Did this mad alchemist that Lord Alar promised us would come forth wear dwarven armor? Did his followers? All I'm saying is sometimes don't trust the weird, creepy alchemists. They don't always know what they're doing. They don't always have your best interests at heart. Oh. One, I'm gonna take the feathers, and two, here we go, notes. Did I miss others then? Because this is number 3. It's working, of course it is, but it's still impressive to see. Even now I feel the dead rising forth. I'm not quite sure how the mad alchemist met his end, but he must have a veritable army at his disposal. So many souls, so many ghosts, they're but outlines right now. Soon though, soon. Something is wrong. These aren't the docile ghosts of alchemy students. Their armor is dwarven. What's going on? So they were trying to resurrect, or they were trying to call forth the alchemist that had inhabited Stone Garden during the time at ESO then. Because there was a mad alchemist and his students who were performing various experiments then. Okay, another Dwarven bone dust. So maybe it won't be necessary for the quest itself, but maybe for the bonus dungeon then? So I don't know what it is. This has nothing to do with the mod, or at least it shouldn't, but I keep on having this issue where my difficulty, no matter what I do, keeps on resetting to novice. And I checked my Skyrim prefs, it's read only. I don't know what's causing this. It might be some weird issues specific to my anniversary install, because I don't have this problem on my special edition install, which I used for Skyrim Saturday, and I used for the modded playthrough and all that. So, just bear in mind that unfortunately, I'm not able to show this at a higher difficulty right now. I might need to nerf myself. You know what? Let's just do that. I'm just gonna nerf myself because I am killing everything way too quickly. So all my legendary stuff, not gonna use it. Sorry. I wish I knew what was causing it.
Someone there?
I can't imagine it has anything to do...
Huh? No!
Oh, he almost got away from me. I can't imagine it has anything to do with the creation itself. It should.
Put up a fight. That's your best.
See, this is better now. See, now he's formidable and we're nearly dead.
No more.
All it took was me significantly nerfing myself. Ghost Battle's Journal. Grand Elixir of Conflict. Ooh. Light armor, one-handed weapons. Okay. Potion of Well-Being, Plentiful Magicka. A Skull Amulet, I'll take that. Dwarven Bone Dust again. Yep, there you go. His Scalpel, 20 points of poison damage for 2 seconds. That'll also do it. That would also be part of why he was a little dangerous. Oh, look at that. Dwarven Bone Dust, alright. A tomb. A damned tomb. These metal boxes were caskets, sealed shut and full of damn bone dust. The resurrection ritual doesn't discriminate, and instead of the ghosts of alchemists like I intended, the entire place was a resting place for dwarves. And now they're all back at once, pouring out of the depths, slaughtering my men left and right. They're even climbing into the damn machines and turning them wretched and alive again. Okay. That's why they're incensed. I can't control them. They coordinate, they talk to each other somehow. These aren't people. They are like damned bees. Worse still, the depths where we began the ritual are impossible to reach. Okay, that's gonna be the barrier I saw. The biggest of those automatons came to life and are destroying anyone that comes close. If I had to guess from the regalia of the ghosts before they climbed into them, they were some sort of royalty. Savages. I've blocked off all I can to the lower depths with a binding ritual of my own design, using Dwarven bone dust as the primary compound. It won't stop the ghosts already here, but it will give us time to regroup and plan. Hopefully they won't be willing to burn their own remains in the fire. They take care of their own, savages that they are. I'll figure this out one way or another. Okay, and, it also does point me to, yep. Oh, this is the barrier. Not what I was thinking of then. Not what I had indicated. There are quest markers for the creation, I just didn't have it on initially, is why. But now we also have the marker telling us where we can get the final of the bone dust. I thought this was gonna be, like, much further. I thought this was gonna lead down, like, a whole path. I almost expected that to be the entrance to the secret mini-dungeon. Oh god, I cannot see in this gross-ass water. Nope, nothing down there? I don't think so, at least. Alright, and in we go. Reach the deepest tombs of Stone Crypt. We're gonna fight the king. We're gonna fight the royalty. Oh, yep. And he's gonna have, you know, used his ghostly powers to take over the Centurion. Might have been a bad idea. Might have been a very bad idea. We're gonna see. Oh, just rush on in. Oh, yep, he's a little strong. I think I can manage it. I can always swap back to my legendary gear if I really, really need to. I may need to. We're gonna see. We're about to find out. Because, weirdly enough, he wasn't really attacking, he was just kind of sidestepping me every time. Yep, we're going to... At the very least, we're gonna swap back to, my better weapon. I'm not sure if we're gonna do armor just yet, though. Ooh, alright, I was trying my weapon, you gotta come down for a moment. You gotta bear with me for a second. Okay, yep. So, better armor it is. Knowing my luck, what if now is the time that it finally went through and said, okay, yeah, now we'll turn up your difficulty, now we'll acknowledge it. Is he going to attack? Yeah, kind of like the first one. Like, he approaches me, but he's not attacking at all. Just watch, it turns out that the save I'm using for this is just busted for whatever reason. Time for another reinstall, I guess. Who knows? And Royal Bone Dust. And one more. You guessed it. Royal Bone Dust. King's Craft added. Let's take a look at that. Well, it's not under spells or active effects or powers. It's gotta be an active effect that I'm just not seeing then, which, it's me, so, you know. I'll look later, but I'm not seeing whatever King's Craft is right now. Okay, and this takes us back to Stone Garden. Which I have a couple different places that I can kind of guess that we would need to go for that secret dungeon. Either way, we will investigate. Either way, I am gonna look around for that. Okay, and this is the locked door from earlier. The one where I said, oh, I'll have to go into the garden to find the key. There was no key. Don't listen to me. I think there's definitely something just kind of broken with this install with the save or with my INIs, because I also noticed that it said I had survival mode on, but I absolutely didn't have survival mode on, otherwise I would constantly be hungry and tired and cold and just mildly uncomfortable throughout the entirety of this dungeon, so my best bet is that maybe I just have to delete my INIs and let them refresh, but I have no clue anymore. There was a second entrance to the research lab. Is it gonna be up here? Okay, I can actually climb this. I wasn't sure if it was gonna be too steep or something, but here we go. It is a pretty large dungeon. I didn't need to attack the Spectre. This one was not hostile. Like, this is a pretty good length dungeon, and I had even said it earlier in the video that I didn't expect it to be a one-to-one with ESO's version, but it's definitely not a one-to-one in terms of design and layout, but it's still pretty long. Oh! Ghost Bottle Forcep. Alright. 20 points of damage for 2 seconds, so similar to the Scalpel. I like that, I like that. Forcep, Scalpel. See, I see what they're doing there. Also, I did use Consequence just to check to see if there was another piece of the Mad Alchemist set. Unless it goes by a different name, there's only 3 Mad Alchemist items. Uh-oh. It would be interesting if we could find a way to turn off the incense through here. Although, I guess then, if we were to do that, you would never have any other enemies to fight in here again if you were to come back through here because of a Radiant quest from the rest of the guild. It's very dark down here. I recommend a torch, or if you're like me, I'm using quick light. Oh. That's a nice little touch. Oh god, this place is an absolute maze. There's another passageway down that way. Is there more over here, or is that going to be the only way? There's another passageway, okay. They probably connect, right? Where does this lead? Yep, this little crawl space right here. This does lead somewhere. I feel like it's very likely that people might miss this corridor. I nearly did. But when I was looking at my local map, it looked like there was something kind of in this direction, which prompted me to investigate a little bit more. Now, let's look around and see if we have anything here. Oh, okay. Stormforge, new weapon. Target takes 30 points of shock damage and half as much magic damage. Alright. Yeah, if anything, while they're all, you know, vanilla models and textures, I am impressed by the number of, like, newly enchanted named items here. Okay. So it leads to the top of the King's Tomb, which is good because then that gives us an easy way back to the entrance as well. So that should be just about everything for Stone Garden. So now we can head on to Uttering Hills and to Frostvault. So once again, pretty much as soon as you enter the dungeon, you just want to go right and hang right. And right down this way, we have the entrance to Frostvault. Oh, immediately we got a journal. So many words to describe Muhuvnak's vault. Expansive, glorious even. I'm not sure what serendipity allowed the Somerset Shadows to stumble upon it, but when Linway wrote to me of it, I knew that it was destiny that called me to this place. My fellow Scrafiers? But I suppose it's only one of my bloodline, my link back to the ancient Dwemer that let me see the secrets, the lines in the machines that only a true deep one could sense. But there's power here. So much power.
Over here.
Okay. Who are you? Oh, the Scrap Heel Harrier. Kind of interesting, the idea of, you know, having this cult or this group that's like, oh yeah, we are Dwemer descendants, that we belong to the Dwemer, that we deserve to... Oh god. that we deserve to have these ruins to ourselves. Alright, I'm already getting hurt a little bit more, so I'm just gonna be a little careful. There we go. Frozen under ice. Traverse the Frostvault.
Mercy!
No mercy. It's a word I don't believe in. Scrap Air's journal too. I also realized now, I was trying to read the word wrong. It's Scrap Air. I think the fact that there wasn't like a dash or anything threw me off, but I understand now, I get it. The few scholars aware of Muvnak's legacy regard him as a great architect. The keeper and builder of this complex meant to house a draconic artifact of dangerous power. But what Dwemer wasn't a great architect or a skilled engineer? No. Like many of his age, Muvnak had a certain obsession. An obsession that made him ideal for containing the aforementioned artifact. Frostvault's true and original purpose, as far as I can glean, was to contain and study the power of dragons. As this vast cavern melts, so too does it reveal the secrets I seek. Workshops and foundries dedicated to extracting a dragon's control over fire, frost, and shock magic. But still, something escapes me. Arcane power flows through these tunnels, but where is the source? It must lie deeper within the vaults. Not an issue for one such as I. And that's a good callback because in ESO, Frostvault was one of the dungeons that you went to in order to find the pieces of the Dragonstone, which was back during the Year of the Dragon, which was 2019, with Elsewhere being the expansion that year. And down we go. I am wondering, just lengthwise, what this will be compared to Stone Garden, because Stone Garden was fairly long, especially when you took the side dungeon, the mini dungeon, which wasn't so mini, into account, because the raw recording for Stone Garden, with walking around, and then also with me trying to fix my damn game, was about an hour and a half. So right now I'm even wondering what that's gonna edit down to. Boop. You know, if you have another journal lying around, that'd be great. Although me having shouted at you might have thrown that around a little bit. Also, immediately I recognize this room from the ESO dungeon. There is a room in the Frostvault dungeon that has the 3 or 4 doors branching off from it. So it is sharing some of the design and layout, which I am glad to see. Okay. Yeah, once again, just at a first glance, this does feel very reminiscent of Frostvault, which I had run through several times now, so I'm just sitting here going, oh yeah, I recognize this. Stone Garden didn't feel quite as reminiscent to its ESO counterpart, but I'm also gonna take a look at those again. I'm gonna run through those again in ESO just so I have a little bit of a better sense.
You're dead.
Probably. Like, granted, I can't seem to raise the difficulty, but you guys definitely feel a little stronger now. I don't know if it's just me. Don't know if it's just because they're all wearing Dwarven armor or what, but I was getting into some situations where they were getting a little close to killing me. So now I'm just playing a little more carefully than I was earlier. Than I needed to earlier. Scrap Captain's Diary. Find the conduits, the boss says. They will be our salvation, the boss raves. I followed him, I killed and stole for him. Got myself kicked out of the Thalmor for him. We all did. And you know what? Even now, I believe that Scrap Air can hear machines. I don't know if he's really got dwarf blood in him as he claims, but I've never seen anyone who just knows their way around a ruin. So why, in Finister's name, are we just sitting around here digging up these ruins for conduits while the boss sits in his vault obsessing over worth? There's a fortune's worth of dwarven artifacts just sitting here. Boss needs to get his priorities straight. Or he'll have a mutiny on his hands, and we'll make it bold to show that we mean business. Oh, there we go. Find junctions to unlock the inner vault. Okay, yep, because this is the vault, the Frostvault, if you will. We need to go down. Okay, so that's the 3 doors. Those are the doors that I was looking at. Would you look at that? So we have 1, 2. Oh, I only see 2 doors. Well, there was a 3rd door over there. It might not be related then. Either way, I'll start by visiting the ones with the quest markers. But the journal did say that they're harnessing the power of shock, frost, and fire. So I would imagine the 3 levers, the 3 releases are going to be... This is Scorch, there's going to be 1 of shock, and then there'll be 1 of frost as well. So really, it's the Frostvault, but it's the all elements vault when you think about it. While this mod pack obviously doesn't require any of this stuff from Anniversary Edition, ooh, Scrap's Child. It would be really cool if, maybe the mod could incorporate the stuff from Anniversary into the leveled lists. So, for instance, if you have all the Anniversary packs, if I could have some of these enemies spawning with the Dwarven Plate Armor or the Dwarven Mail Armor instead of just the vanilla Dwarven Armor. I think that'd be a really nice way of having a little bit more variety in the enemies that we're fighting right now. Oh, here we go. Scrap Air Visage. Because I was hoping we'd have another armor set here. I was hoping we'd have another unique set. Resist 15% shock, fire, and frost. Boom. See, very fitting. Makes sense for what they're going for here. Okay. Ooh, are we gonna need to turn these in the right order? Moonvac's Proof. Let me check the other one before I touch anything. Okay, so no valve here. Let's see. Okay. Well, the lava's not rising, so I will take that as a good sign. Essentially, it sounds like or looks like we turned a boiler on. Maybe I pulled the proof much sooner than I was supposed to. Enjoy the lava. Yeah, he definitely fell into the lava. He's gone. Oh, he's done.
That's it? That's your best?
Now I'm wondering what the
I'll end
proof
your miserable
was
life.
for.
No more.
Now I'm wondering what the proof did. Alright, there we go. We got the 1. So now I can go back to where I was. Now we're actually done here, which means I'll clear this room out and then we'll go to the Stormworks, because we had the entrance to that. So this leads to the Snowworks. This would have benefited either from a hyphen or just one W, or even the second W just being capitalized. We have Snowworks and we have Stormworks. We're right here, let's do Snowworks first. It is the Frostvault, so we are now in the section that'll be at least a little frostier. So that's good. There's someone behind me, there is. Oh, there's multiple people behind me. Okay. I did hotkey some ultimate healing potions. Just because I had a feeling that with the mages especially, yeah, I'm gonna get murdered. The mages are just the one challenging part in Frostvault. They're the things that are killing me. Yeah, so 2 out of 3. We still need to find the valve, wherever it is. We still have to explore the entirety of the lower level of this section too. So this leads to the Stormworks, which I do like that these 3 chambers connect back to one another. I think that's really nice, not having to go back to the central chamber in order to access each of them. Oh, here we go. Muvnak's work. That, maybe that was resting on something and it just fell over, but that is new. Let me take a look at that real quick. Attacks with crossbow, ignore 50% of armor. Obviously, my enhanced dwarven crossbow at legendary is going to do more damage, but given that everyone is wearing heavy armor right now, might not be a bad choice. Alright, on to hall number 3. I'm just kind of expecting to get zapped by lightning every few seconds. It'd be really terrible, but it would be fitting for something called the Stormworks.
Huh?
Oh, here we go. I found our second pump. I might have to go back to the Frostworks then, to the Snowworks then, because I did not see one there. Listen, I'm wearing a Dwemer helmet. You should think I'm one of you. Alright, so there's gonna be one in the Snowworks. I will go back. I just missed it, wherever it is. Well, this room looks promising.
Is someone there?
It's the 3 green buttons. The 3 green buttons, it just, you know, it screams importance to me. Oh, I missed, it's okay, you're fine. Almost, I can't see with all the fire and flame in front of my damn face. Like, it's a little bit much.
I'll see you burn.
I'm not used to seeing this many spellcasters in, like, the same encounter in the same dungeon. So I think that's one of those things that's definitely throwing me off a little bit. Alright, well, that's the 3 locks. I'm gonna look around, see if I can find armor, weapons, and I realize that me using Unrelenting Force is possibly throwing a couple things around, but it's been really helpful for the crowd control dealing with the enemy mages, because they just destroy me right now. But we have our objective. We can open the vault. I'm actually really interested in seeing the inside of it. We can go into the vault of Frostvault. I also do like that there's the 3 lights on it to indicate that you activated all 3 valves, all 3 workshops. So that's a nice touch. I did notice that the quest didn't update. Oh, there we go. I was saying, never mind. Forget what I was saying. Oh, what was he gonna do? It looked like he was gonna mount Scrap's child. It looked like he was gonna try and use it as like an exoskeleton. I'm just imagining Fallout 4 power armor, but I don't think that's possible. I don't think that's feasible. Oh, here we go. 50% chance for each element, fire, frost, and shock to do 30 points of damage. I have found it. If not the source, then the entrance to the source. The deepest vaults of the deepest vaults. But they're sealed off, walled off behind some contraption-laden door bearing the visage of Moonvak himself. It's no matter. We opened the previous vault, we can open this one. Damnable door, it defies me. No matter what I do, I cannot open it. All I feel is the mocking gaze of its architect, judging me, finding me unworthy. I am anything but. There are clear pressure plates, pneumatic pipes. This is merely another puzzle. There must be valves. Okay, here we go. Valves, conduits, levers of some kind to properly pump the needed materials in and open the door. It's been dangerous exploring deep into Frostvault, but my scrap heels are loyal. I have sent them and the captains within to find these conduits. Any looting can wait. It will all be made irrelevant once we see the true source of Frostvault's power. Wait. So that's gonna be... find valves to open the deepest vaults. Is that gonna be the same valves? Am I gonna have a similar situation if I was finding this stuff before I needed to? Because I had that same thing with the Dwemer bone dust in the first dungeon. The vault judges you unworthy. I do really like that I get that notification when I step up here. I can see how that might have driven him a little mad. Okay, so here we go. This is pointing me very, very specifically to a point in the Snowworks. Is it going to be all the way down there? Yes, it is. Here it is. Moonvak's proof. Really like the animation. I really like how secure the inner vault is. Because this now makes me feel like I've really worked for it, you know? Hello? Oh. Find a way further into the Drake engine by activating the valves, which... one thing I will say is that with how big these dungeons are, I really appreciate that there are quest markers for the valves. Alright, easy enough, simple enough. Alright, there we go. Find a way further into the Drake engine. And then we should just go back to the first room, I take it. Here we go. Are we gonna have a boss? Are we gonna go in there? Alright, let's push the button. Yeah, I wonder what's waiting for us. I say I wonder, but they did allude to, the dwarves trying to replicate the power of the dragons. And I see a dragon skeleton. Yup. Put Moonvak's tortured dragon out of its misery. I think that is a really, really cool idea for the dungeon. I think that's a really cool final boss. Just stepping back a little bit. Surprisingly, he's not hurting me. Really, I think the only thing that caused me any sort of difficulty in this dungeon was just the scrap heel mages. Everything else compared to them, not all too bad. Still got the worms to tangle with, that's fine. Oh, nope, never mind. Never mind, they're gone. Never mind, they disappeared. And we also got, Moonvac's Ward as well. Okay, we got 3. We got Moonvac's Fury, Insight, and Ward. Furious Swarm for 60 seconds. While active, resists 50% of fire and destruction spells. Cost 50% less to cast. The same equivalent for Shock and for Frost. That I do like. I do like that we get the spells, and I also like that they're immediately granted to us as well. And taking the elevator at the end of this inner vault, it's probably going to bring us right to that locked door that we had at the beginning. Yes. Yes, it did. So I went to the Creations page just to check, and the inner vault was the second dungeon, was the secondary quote-unquote secret dungeon, although it did count as part of the quest. I kinda wish that stone crypts in Stone Garden had also been part of that quest, that after we had dispelled the ward, defeated the final boss, that maybe there was something that pointed us to the stone crypts itself. And yes, the stone crypts did wind up looping around to the final boss as well, but I like how Frostvault did it because it made the secondary dungeon feel like part of the story, and it was ultimately the end of Frostvault's story, whereas for Stone Garden and Stone Crypts, that really felt like a little bit more of just a side thing that for me didn't really seem to add as much value personally. First off, I apologize for the weirdness with my difficulty settings. I didn't have any of these problems in the past, and I had been using the save file and install for a few videos as of late, and I hadn't run into this problem before. I'm gonna continue to look into it and see if I can find a solution without having to do a complete reinstall. At approximately $4 for 2 dungeons as well as their mini dungeons, is this worth the price point? And this might be a bit of a cop-out answer, but I think that's gonna come down to the individual. I personally feel that I got my money's worth just for the sheer size and length of the new content, but I also feel that I still could have gotten my money's worth with smaller dungeons that maybe focused a bit more on quests and storytelling overall. In total, I had probably 3 to 3.5 hours of raw footage recorded going through these dungeons, including some backtracking, checking nooks and crannies, stuff like that. And by the end of these recording sessions with Frostvault, I didn't feel as committed to finding the new armor pieces anymore. If you're familiar with Trainwiz's mods, or even some of his Creation Club content, you'll likely know what to expect going in. Trainwiz has been modding Bethesda games for well over a decade now, and I would say he's best known for sprawling dungeons, usually with an emphasis on the Dwemer, or at the very least, the clockwork constructs of Sotha Seal. I started off both dungeons really excited. 1, because I've really enjoyed a lot of Trainwiz's work, and 2, because I love the Elder Scrolls Online. In the case of ESO's dungeons, not just these 2, but others as well, I think one of their strengths is the storytelling component, characters throughout to move the story along, as well as different notable mini-bosses. Between the quests and the unique enemies, it helps to keep ESO's dungeons fresh all the way through. I enjoyed these dungeons as a whole. The notes and journals were interesting and helped to tell an interesting story, but I wish I was seeing that story play out a bit more rather than just reading about it. If anything, that was one of my main hangups with Creation Club, and I like that with Creations we're able to move away from that and start to get more voiced content. As far as the mini dungeons go, I really liked the inner vault of Frostvault, but the Stone Crypts as a secondary dungeon didn't add as much for me personally. I liked the design, the lighting was great, but other than that, it was just more hallways of the exact same enemies again and again. these felt longer than their ESO counterparts. Either because in ESO you're a group of 4 and the encounters that take the most time are the bosses, not the mobs in between, or because some of the new sections that were introduced for the creation version made the experiences a bit longer. Frostvault felt a bit more reminiscent of its ESO counterpart, and I could more easily pick out a couple of the recurring parts of the dungeon. The 3 elemental halls, the Snowworks, Stormworks, and Scorchworks, were new to Skyrim's version, and made up the bulk of the dungeon's playtime. Stone Garden felt like a bit more of a departure, even by comparison, and I didn't really feel as many similarities throughout. In ESO, Stone Garden had more emphasis on the laboratories, with the repurposed dwarven equipment and a really fun mad scientist vibe. Location-wise, I would say that Trainwiz did a really good job of placing them, and I really like that their entrances are via vanilla dungeons. This has the added benefit of not making any changes to the overworld map, meaning less potential conflicts with other mods that you might install. Obviously, if you have mods that completely overhaul the layout of Pine Moon Cave or Uttering Hills, it'll be an issue, but off the top of my head, I don't know any mods that would do so. This really feels like it was designed with compatibility in mind, which I love to see. I like the idea of the new weapons and armor, and them being vanilla models and textures isn't necessarily a deal breaker for me, but for paid content, ideally there would be a retexture or even new models. I enjoy collecting unique items, and early on I felt more of a desire to seek them out, but towards the end I was definitely losing a bit of steam. And because of how large these dungeons were, with how many different side passages, corridors, and dead ends there were, it was like a needle in a haystack finding some of them. I did like that they emulated the item sets that you have from ESO, with a named set of armor and named weapon sets. That felt like a really nice callback to one of the reasons why we run ESO's dungeons again and again in the first place. If you're someone that enjoys longer dungeon dives and you want a more combat-focused experience, this pack will be exactly what you're looking for. And having played several of Trainwiz's quest mods before, I think this might be some of his best designed dungeons. But for me, even with this being a piece of paid content, I can't help but thinking that sometimes less is more, and this might be one of those times. I think I would have gotten my $4 worth with slightly shorter, better paced dungeons. Maybe have a quest giver that acts as a bit of a guide or follower throughout. And I know that dungeon design is a very different skill set and type of development from writing, hiring voice actors, and the like, but I would be much happier if these dungeons had been closer to maybe half an hour long. I would even be willing to bump up the price point to $5 for a more story-oriented dungeon pack. I don't think that $4 is a bad price point just for the amount of time that you'll spend in the new content. I think more unique content, be it bosses, puzzles, or more storytelling beats, could help to keep things fresh. Now, if you're looking for similar free mods, you're in luck, because there's really no shortage of dungeon mods out there. And I guess it depends too on what exactly you're looking for from a free dungeon mod. What I will say right off the bat, if you want to experience some fun dungeons, something with more obscure lore, more puzzles, and some comical writing, check out some of Trainwiz's mods such as Wheels of Lull or Blackreach Railroad, available for both PC and Xbox. For free mods that provide longer, more involved dungeon experiences, something that might feel a bit more akin to this creation, you may enjoy Venjhammet's various dungeon packs, available for PC. Or might I recommend one of my favorite dungeon mods of all time, Sirenroot, Deluge of Deceipt. A dungeon mod filled with puzzles, choices, characters, and a handful of different endings as a result. Also only available on PC due to some of its mod requirements. But like I said, there's no shortage of dungeon mods out there. These are a very small percentage of the ones that you can find. But that's gonna be all for this time. If you'd like to support the channel, check out the Patreon or the YouTube memberships. And you can catch me live at twitch.tv/0periodproductions. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.